Let's take a look at what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2025 with sheet metal, weldments and structure systems. In this demo, you'll see how SOLIDWORKS 2025 helps you save time by quickly copying all cut list properties to many items. It helps you streamline your downstream manufacturing processes with bend notches, gives you higher flexibility in your tab and slot workflows, and allows you to use multiple length edge flanges without having to edit the flange profile. You can now create a new type of weld bead in SOLIDWORKS 2025 called groove beads between two solid bodies. Sheet metal performance has dramatically improved for parts with large amount of items, and so have the cut list updates. Now let's get started. Our goal with this part is to finalize some of the details before submitting to the team for review. First, we're going to edit our cut list. Let's take a look at this sheet metal part. We want to add a new cut list item called process. And in this case, the sheet metal items will be cut on a water jet. In SOLIDWORKS 2025, you can now copy this one cut list property to all cut list items. The old method of manually creating these properties would have taken a long time. However, some of these are not going to be on the water jet. They'll need to be cut on a bandsaw. We can simply change the property once and copy it to the specified items. Confirming to overwrite the existing data, we can see that those items have been copied properly. Let's zoom in on this sheet metal part and flatten it. Now's a great time to talk about how SOLIDWORKS 2025 improves fold, unfold and flatten performance for parts with large amounts of sheet metal bodies, or many cuts within bends. SOLIDWORKS 2025 introduces bend notch. Bend notches are going to allow you to streamline your downstream manufacturing process by adding physical marks on your sheet metal bodies. This makes it easy for an operator to line up those marks in a press brake. Several options are available: triangular, circular, rectangular, and of course, the ability to adjust the size as needed. Tab and slot workflows have been improved. There is now an option for equal offset when we're using equal spacing. This allows you to offset the pattern from the extents of your selected edge. Right hand side should be different to make orientation obvious. New in SOLIDWORKS 2025 is the centerline option, which places the tabs symmetrically along the selected edge. 2025 also introduces the ability to skip instances for tab and slot. Let's flatten that again so we can see the result. The final operation for the sheet metal body is to add edge flanges to close it off. In previous versions of SOLIDWORKS, creating edge flanges of equal length was possible in the same operation, but if you wanted different lengths, you'd have to edit the edge flange profile. SOLIDWORKS 2025 streamlines this workflow. Simply check the multi-length flange and adjust the lengths as necessary. I'll change the default radius here to something more appropriate. SOLIDWORKS 2025 also gives you the option to automatically fully define lengths of edge flange sketches, saving time, especially for teams that have a directive to fully define all sketches. Our part has several weld beads in place, but there is one area that we haven't completed. We want to create a weld that fills the gap between the chamfered edge and plate. SOLIDWORKS 2025 introduces groove bead to accurately represent these weld types. We can even define a weld symbol on the fly. A single weld is not sufficient, so let's use mirror. Since these are bodies, they are extremely easy to mirror. In 2022 SOLIDWORKS, we introduced the option to use multiple planes or faces when mirroring, as well as the handy Q shortcut key to expose reference geometry for easy selection. Let's discuss some of the other great enhancements in 2025. For complex weldment profiles, we now have the ability to allow protrusions during planar body trim. There are several enhancements to the structure system. Improved creation of structure systems as well as improved corner treatment UI. We can mirror a patterned structure system or pattern a mirrored structure system. And you can also trim members with connection elements as shown here. There's so much more to go over, so definitely check out the What's New documentation for more information on what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2025 with sheet metal, weldments, and structure systems.
Hi everyone, this is Braxton Kirsting with MLC CAD Systems. Today we're going to be taking a look at what's new in SOLIDWORKS PDM 2025. Starting this year off, we're introducing a brand new tab for the SOLIDWORKS Command Manager, specifically for SOLIDWORKS PDM. Here you'll find all the relevant PDM commands. The get command has been updated to now include a column for revision, so we never have to really know which version is associated to a specific revision. Also in the get dialog, we've added a column for the checkout procedure. So if you're performing a get and you plan to be making changes to that latest version, we can go ahead and check it out at the same time. This assembly does contain an electrical route subassembly. And if we review the components list and review the BOM in the bill of material, we'll browse to in a new window, which is a new command in 2025. And if we compare these side by side, we'll see the components list is now following the assembly order even for our route subassemblies. Now, we intend to make a design update here. We're going to add some covers to act as guards, and I'll go ahead and unsuppress these and check them in as a new version to our assembly using the PDM task pane. Go ahead and add an appropriate comment. And now that I'm finished with my design change, I will send the files forward to review. Now this file was open in lightweight mode, and that's okay now in 2025. It does not matter if the files are open in lightweight or fully resolved for the change state command. And you may have noticed the icons are a bit updated. We have a few more options as well. In 2025, we have the ability to control which commands are shown in the PDM task pane. New in SOLIDWORKS PDM 2025 is the last open time is now a system variable and can be shown as a column. When using the search card, we now have the ability to show the preview on the right-hand side of our screen. And when we are viewing bitmaps for our preview, the transition to eDrawings has been made more apparent with a easily found button at the top of the preview. Additionally, the version tab has been updated to include additional information about the local revision. And when we go through the action dropdown, we've seen a new command added, get revision, which pares down that listing to only versions that had a revision label assigned to them. Go ahead and search for the top level assembly now. And let's view the bill of materials for top level assembly. New in SOLIDWORKS PDM 2025 is a flattened view, which will give us a quantity rollup, not only of the parts, but also of the subassemblies that make up our top level assembly. And when we're ready to maybe export a bill of material, we can now include those thumbnails as we can from SOLIDWORKS in our CSV file. For those PDM admins watching this video, you'll be pleased to see a new log has been added for login and log out. This includes login and logouts to the Web 2 or even the Web API usage. Additionally, the bill of material configuration it now allows for setting default view types. So if you want to always see the top level bill of material for a specific BOM configuration, we can design that in as an admin. That concludes our video today for What's New in SOLIDWORKS PDM 2025. If you're interested in more What's New content, please be sure to check out our YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Braxton Kirsting here with MLC CAD Systems, and today we're going to be reviewing what's new in drawings for SOLIDWORKS 2025. Now in 2025, we have the ability to use the reload command on our drawings, which is going to outline whether or not there's any potential loss of changes. In my case, I moved some views around, I deleted a view, and so when I click OK, it's going to revert back to the last saved version on the disk, allowing me to return back to the state it was when I first opened the model. The next enhancement has to do with bills of material. In a previous release, they added the ability to include detailed cut list items. So for your assemblies that have welded components on it, this was great in order to be able to use the bill of material. Now in 2025, we've extended that capability by adding the option to change the quantity to use the quantity specified in the cut list properties. In this case, length, to give me the overall length of each item. Of course, keeping our drawings up to date is the utmost importance. In 2025, the surface finish command has been updated to now include the ISO 21920 standard symbols. And I'll go ahead and use one of my save styles to make this a little bit easier to attach. Ultimately, once your drawing's ready to or finished, you may need to export it out to DWG or DXF. And in 2025, we have a new option in the export to DWG and DXF to take our drawing views and force them into blocks. And so you'll find that in the system options under the export options for DWG and DXF. Just a simple checkbox. And with that checked on, the exported drawing, each view you're going to see is already a block. We don't have to make those blocks in post. And so that saves a little bit of time for anyone interacting with those 2D drawings. And that's what's new for drawings in SOLIDWORKS 2025. Thank you all for checking this out. If you're interested in more what's new or tutorial content, please be sure to check out our channel.
When opening SOLIDWORKS electrical schematic drawings, the view is zoomed into where you were last working. I want to start the 2025 enhancements with the new interface configuration preference, zoom to fit when opening drawings. If you're neat and tidy like me, you're going to appreciate every document opening to the perfect view. This will be especially valuable to save time when moving between electrical schematic sheets in very large projects. The Proteus V2 project is wired with 100% off-the-shelf cables and connectors. All these are fully defined inside of my electrical project. But how did all these details get in my library? Using the new Excel import tool and template, I can swiftly bring these components into electrical fully defined. Let's generate a new connector template. The properties in each column correspond exactly to what you're used to, and the template clearly indicates what is mandatory or required. There's even data validation for existing values in your library, and these values updates with the subsequent exports of a template, as your library grows and you have that new standard of values. Manufacturer parts can be defined, including the circuit and terminal details. Note the use of different separators for both circuits and terminals within those circuits. With this import tool, you can quickly add your exact content with all the possible details to the library, like this fused power plug AC1. Like I mentioned, Excel import extends to cables as well, and I can define them completely with cable cores. We need a lot of cables for this machine, so good thing cable management and configuration is enhanced for a better user experience. First, the Mark Route parameter is added in the Properties tab. When you add this cable to a project from now on, it will be PWR. Also note that cable characteristics are separated from the conductor defaults, reducing confusion as to which properties pertain to the entire cable versus individual conductors. In this cable, the cable cores were all defined fully using the Excel import tool. Next, a new cable shortcut menu, properties, but also go to drawing from a cable jumps to where the cable is located, normally a line diagram. Go to drawing from a cable core jumps to a scheme where the cable core starts. Go to browser shows the origin component of a cable core in the tree. Next, from the cable manager, you can now delete a cable even if it's used in a schematic or a line diagram. The wires associated with the cable cores are now disassociated, with a handy preview of our power circuit scheme. Let's add a new 2-conductor power cable. Remember the mark route we defined a minute ago, PWR? A very useful filter for browsing cables in your library. Let's hook up these cores. If I wanted to get more sophisticated in my naming, I could use new variables that have been added to the cable mark formula. Position variables and origin and destination variables, which I prefer. Quickly renumber the cable marks and check it out. If you're using off-the-shelf cables like Proteus, you'll save time in these workflows. Speaking of origin component, notice the AC1 component. How representations of manufacturer parts are displayed in the component tree has been restructured for simplicity and organization. Under each component, there is one new node for each manufacturer part associated to the component, plus an intermediate node for each symbol representing that part. For AC1, we have representation of the line diagram, the schematic, and the flattened harness. That's right, the project drawing from SOLIDWORKS 3D is now fully intelligent. Under the hood, electrical project drawings from the 3D side are now authored with blocks. These blocks link footprint line art with the corresponding component. This means manufacturer part properties, go to linking, and more. Of course, this is naturally extending the electromechanical integration and associativity of representations. This even flows through to the PDF export. Alright, the project drawing looks all nice and pretty, but how about we do some design? One task today is to add a splice to extend my ground loop directly to the chassis. This means I will have to update the 2D design, the 3D route, and the flattened harness drawing. Let's start by finishing the schematic representation, extending the ground circuit to the chassis via a ring terminal. There's my new splice, and it's right on top of my EW path sketch, so all my wiring will be routed through there in one entity. In 2025, flatten route now prevents creations of a loop when there's a splice directly on top of the path. SOLIDWORKS now uses existing sketch segments passing through the splice component instead of adding a new sketch segment for the unspliced wires, which avoids creations of a loop at the splice component. The Flatten Route tool also offers improved support for complex and multi-circuit splices. For example, identifying the junction points and loop segments and moving them to the flattened plane. In previous releases, the editing of Flatten Route has been improved. You have to try this on-screen interface for making these fine adjustments to the flattened route. Even with this significant change to the harness, the drawing updates better than ever. There have been continuing efforts to enhance quality and consistency while working with flattened routes. 3D route changes, such as deleting or adding segments, modifying segment length, adding or removing connectors, or changing wires should all properly update the flattened route and drawing without issue. Show and Hide Flattened Route Items has a new option to create an automatic leader line for each connector table. A nice visual link, especially in busy drawings. You can use these boxes to insert tables that were removed or not added. Connector balloons now display quantity similar to wire balloons. There's better logic for placement. Connector tables are placed outside the drawing view and do not overlap each other. If you add a new column to a connector table, we now prompt you to apply to other tables, as well as formatting changes to the header also trigger a prompt. Any drawings from SOLIDWORKS like this form board or flattened harness drawing are automatically updated in the electrical project whenever I save the SLD DRW. This is thanks to a new dynamic link between SOLIDWORKS and the project drawings. Previously, if you made any changes to the SOLIDWORKS drawing, you had to click the Create Project Drawing button again to replace the existing project drawing. As you can see, the workflow flexibility in Electrical 2025 between 2D and 3D is better than ever. Since the project drawing is now intelligent blocks, you can easily organize and refine these 3D drawings from within SOLIDWORKS Electrical Schematic. Further, there's a new Annotate tab with commands relevant to this task. From this tab, you can make changes to 2D drawings from 3D and flatten routing documents. Save time editing flattened harnesses and control panel drawings since there's no need to go back to the 3D source drawing. It's a really nice 2D, 3D, 2D fluid workflow we have in Electrical Professional 2025. For the last section, I would like to highlight improvements to terminal blocks and terminal drawings. If you're a panel designer or design power and control systems, these improvements may be the top enhancements for you. Here, I have a schematic with multiple connection points. This could be for the same circuit or a multi-level, multi-circuit terminal. The distributed terminal capability lets you associate symbols with specific circuits and pins, facilitating the representation of more complex terminal configurations. This new intuitive interface allows for dynamic circuit and pin selection, ensuring accurate symbol-to-terminal mapping for enhanced design precision. In a terminal strip drawing, Electrical 2025 introduces more complex wire destination details. In this example, we want to show destination component for the wires and cables. And there's improved display for multiple wires heading to the same component. This provides better visibility and addresses user requests for improved information.
SOLIDWORKS has added quite a few features for part modeling in 2025. Let's cover some that are the most beneficial for you as an everyday user. First, we have an assembly that we need to create a simplified representation of. This could be to protect intellectual property or to help simplify a large assembly. Because we are converting this to a multi-body part, we are prompted to select a template. Here is where we will also select a different orientation that our vendor has specified. We'll switch to a Z up by selecting right here at the bottom of the window. SOLIDWORKS 2025 has also added the ability to select multiple edges for chamfers. Similarly to fillets, you can now use the Selection Accelerator toolbar to choose multiple edges quickly. Groove bead is the newest weld type to be added to SOLIDWORKS. We can select that here to easily fill this gap. This will be discussed more in the Weldments demo. Previously, there was only one single defeature method in SOLIDWORKS. Now we have a second option for silhouette geometry. This creates a simplified model based on the outline of the body. Each simplification method adjusts the overall part detail. We can choose cylinder, polygon outline, tight fit outline, and we have an option to keep internal loops, like holes. We have multiple output methods to choose from based on our application. Improving our parts performance in SOLIDWORKS 2025 is easy. We can view the graphics triangle count and face count. Faces with tight curvature are a common culprit for increasing the triangle count, which can slow down SOLIDWORKS performance. In SOLIDWORKS 2025, we can adjust this variable fillet that seems to be pinched by using a new feature called the Continuous Edge Blend option. This creates smooth, continuously blended faces, which will reduce our triangle and face count. It appears that someone cut threads in the sheet metal body. New to SOLIDWORKS 2025 is the ability to delete features beneath the rollback bar with a right click. I know, it's pretty awesome, right? If you spend enough time in SOLIDWORKS, you have had to repair a sketch at least once or twice. New to 2025, you can easily repair sketch errors. Seen here is a sketch that has lost its reference and is dangling. You can automatically repair by right-clicking on the dimension and selecting the icon at the top of the menu, or you can go directly into Display Delete Relations. Then you have the option to choose Find Replacement Or if you have multiple dangling dimensions, I would recommend selecting the Repair All Dangling to resolve them all at once. Let's discuss some enhancements we weren't able to discuss in this demo. SOLIDWORKS 2025 can automatically convert meshes to the standard BREP, which is a more compatible geometry type. SOLIDWORKS now imports 3MF beam lattices as parasol lattices, graphics mesh, or wireframe. Additionally, SOLIDWORKS 2025 can also create linear or circular patterns for reference geometry. And Move Copy Bodies has been enhanced to allow equations, configurations, and dimension flipping. And finally, Curve Through XYZ Points allows you to start at a user-defined coordinate system. And you can now save multiple clicks by converting entities directly into construction geometry. Make sure to check out the What's New 2025 documentation to see what other enhancements are available in SOLIDWORKS 2025. Welcome to What's New for Simulation in SOLIDWORKS 2025. There are a lot of new features, and today we'll talk about a few of the most impactful for simulation. First, SOLIDWORKS has added the ability to easily and quickly exclude parts from an assembly in your analysis. This allows you to only mesh and solve the parts that are necessary. This can save a lot of time, especially on large assemblies. Next, adding virtual pins have been upgraded to allow distributed connection types, so the load is more accurately transferred from one part to another, increasing the overall accuracy of the analysis. If you use springs, then this next one is right up your alley. Now you can define a new orthotropic spring type with unique stiffness values in all orthogonal directions, plus torsional and bending stiffnesses as well. As you know, we must mesh the study in order to get results. In 2025, parts mesh up to 15% faster when using the blended curvature-based mesher. Finally, we'll switch to simulating injection molding for plastics. In order to make sure your parts turn out exactly as expected, you can analyze the warpage displacement by viewing the unbalanced cooling, orientation, and non-shrinkage events. As for sink events, a new and more accurate solver is used to ensure your injection molded parts turn out just how you modeled them.
Welcome to SOLIDWORKS 2025. Today we're exploring the latest assembly features and functionalities that will help you work faster, smarter, and more efficiently. Whether you're handling large assemblies or streamlining your workflow, there's something new for everyone. Let's start with performance evaluation. In SOLIDWORKS 2025, the tool now reports previous version files and their locations, helping you track outdated components. It also flags graphics display triangles over 5,000, which can impact performance in large assemblies. And with shortcuts to high triangle count components, you can quickly access and optimize them without hunting through your design. Next, SpeedPack just got easier to manage. In SOLIDWORKS 2025, you can now create SpeedPack configurations at the top level of an assembly. This streamlines your design process by allowing you to simplify large assemblies without going into individual sub-assemblies, reducing computational load and improving performance. Large Design Review Mode has received some great updates. Breadcrumb selections are now supported, making it easier to access features and components without exiting LDR. Plus, the new component preview window allows you to inspect parts before opening them, saving time and maintaining system performance. Managing display states is now easier than ever with a new display state table. You can view and manage hidden or shown components in assemblies in one place, simplifying visibility control of large designs. With document groups, you can now save and recall multiple open documents like parts, assemblies, and drawings in a single click. This is a huge time saver when working with multiple file projects, letting you pick up exactly where you left off. Copy with Mates has expanded to support all mechanical and advanced mates, making it easier to duplicate components while maintaining the integrity of complex assemblies. From gear mates to path mates, this feature enhances flexibility and reduces repetitive tasks. Z-up workflows are now supported. SOLIDWORKS 2025 lets you define parts and assembly templates around a Z-up coordinate system, providing more flexibility when working with systems that use different coordinate orientations. That wraps up our look at the new assembly features in SOLIDWORKS 2025. From performance enhancements to better visualization and control, these updates are designed to streamline your workflow. Ready to upgrade? Experience the future of design today. To get the most out of your designs, you need to get the most out of your design tools. That means creating anything from anywhere when creativity strikes. SOLIDWORKS connects all the tools you need to design effectively and efficiently with browser-based subdivision sculpting, parametric design, documentation, and more. Choose a modeling environment that adapts your needs wherever you are and whoever you're working with. Integrated collaboration lets you connect with teammates so you know exactly where to focus. Markups help to communicate and share ideas, and project data is easily accessible. Xshape provides a robust sculpting environment where you can visualize your ideas quickly and accurately. Begin with familiar 2D sketching capabilities that can be used to generate free-form subdivision surfaces. Sharpen edges with the crease command, mirror geometry across plane, and fill any gaps by selecting open boundaries. A modifier robot speeds up the process of topology changes. Simply drag to extrude material or insert loops. Spend less time searching and more time designing with a convenient command search tool. Similar to extrusions, revolves can also be used to generate subdivision geometry. Multiple subdivisions can be combined with the merge surface command. Adjust your shape with a robot manipulator for transforming, scaling, and rotating. Soft selection mode extends the robot's influence so you can edit more faces with fewer clicks. To validate your designs, use a dynamic mesh inspection tool to identify any self-intersecting areas. And with pictures to sketch capability, you can capture detail faster than ever by automatically generating editable 2D sketches. When it's time to connect your designs, feel confident your free-form geometry is precise by aligning it directly to parametric features. Referencing data across components saves time and rework. Use sketches for multiple parts in a single command, and keep measurements consistent without having to recreate or duplicate geometry. External references created between parts can be seen in the Design Manager. If they're ever out of date, status icons will clarify which references must be updated. Use intuitive commands to generate multiple features or bodies. Linear and circular patterns will evenly place instances along a path or axis, with the option to skip any along the way. Efficient manufacturing starts in the design phase. The Design for Manufacturing helper lets you confirm part size, wall thickness, hole depth, and more directly in your modeling environment, ensuring a smooth transition to production. Visualize and design products in the context of their intended setting with the Import Environment command. Hide walls and move components obstructing your view to see your design from any angle. And when it's time to export, mesh formats can be tailored to a resolution according to your needs. Anticipating the motion of your assemblies is important to understand how your product will perform. Insert all the components you need with improved search tools for highlighting recent content. Leverage robust mating tools like Smart Mates to drag and drop components into place. Selections are easier to make within large assemblies with a zoom and reframe tool directly in the command dialog. Isolate parts when you need to focus your attention. And use the Show Dependence option to reveal related components and hidden subassemblies. When your designs are complete, they can be documented for manufacturing using X-Drawing. Whether your part includes traditional geometry, complex surfaces, or sheet metal, a powerful drawing environment enables you to annotate all product manufacturing information. Annotation tools are available to communicate the product and manufacturing information, so known as PMI, in compliance with most common standards. All views and annotations are automatically captured in 3D to accommodate model-based definition. Command search is available across all X apps and adapts to your environment. Flatten views are available for folded and sheet metal components and include the necessary bending and folding information with bend tables. Add any annotated views that were defined in the 3D environment to your 2D drawing. With a suite of browser-based apps, your capabilities don't end with design. Go beyond CAD and explore rendering capabilities in XStudio to create inspiring marketing content. Drag and drop components, assemblies, and entire environments to set the stage, add scenes, adjust focal length, format image size, and more. Designs are linked across applications, so changes made will propagate to the rendering environment. Everything modern design teams need are available within the browser-based tools from SOLIDWORKS, from concept to physical product. Use a design toolbox that grows with your project wherever you go. What will you do? Endless design capabilities.